Tell your friends! Tell your friends about Hooks and Ladders, but also about songstudio.ca. You can get all kinds of information about songwriting, tips, and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, like, follow, and subscribe. That's what we need. That's what you need.
Hey, welcome to Hooks and Ladders. What you're about to see is part of what we did at the SongStudio workshop in Toronto in July 2022. There'll be lots more to see. We're just going to roll it out a little bit at a time. So sit back and enjoy. And if you want to know more about SongStudio, visit www.songstudio.ca and check us out. Enjoy. When I hear you play guitar, I want to ask, what would be your desert island albums?
Desert Island album.
Like, what's your favorite 3 albums? Is there anybody or any artists that have really?
I got a story for you. I got a story for you, and this is how the universe prevails, man. Okay, this time about 5 years ago, I went to Hillside. I love Hillside. Me and Maggie at one point were waste management people there for one festival. And that was like probably 2013. So she passed, and I love Hillside, so it was hard for me to go back to that festival. But I went back with my friend, and our friend was performing, and so we went backstage. And when we went backstage, freaking Sarah Harmer was there. And I love Sarah Harmer for years. Like, she is like, okay, so this one time, me and Maggie went to Lilith Fair. It was their last one here in Toronto. And Sarah Harmer was there, and she played Lodestar. Lodestar is one of my best one of my favorite friggin' songs because of this. She played it live, starting on the guitar. And in the middle of the song, you can hear drums kick in. She got up, went to the drums, and start friggin' doing the drums and singing all at the same time. I was like, oh my God, I love her. I love her. And Maggie was there. She's like, Lace, you're gonna open up for her one day. And this was before she knew I could sing, but nobody else. Like, I wasn't doing this, you know what I mean? I was still working my full-time job. So she looked at me, she's like, you're gonna open up for her. Needless to say, I couldn't drive home that night because I had a great time, too drunk. So me and her just made love in the back of my seat until I was all right to drive home. It was such a great, beautiful experience I'll never, ever forget. Okay, so then I meet her, right? Yeah. After a few years, Maggie passes, I go to Hillside, I friggin' meet her. And I just so happened, I was like, I had the intention, I had an album with me. And I said, I'm gonna meet Sarah Harmer, I'm gonna meet her. Somehow, I'll throw this up on the stage, I don't care. I signed it for her and everything. End up being backstage. Seeing her come off of her set, off the stage. I snagged a hug, and she snagged a CD. And she must have listened to that, because I'm opening for her on Saturday. This Saturday.
This coming Saturday.
This Saturday.
Yep.
This Saturday.
Yep.
At the Jackson Triggs Amphitheater in Niagara Falls. So she friggin' listened to that. My partner Maggie on the other side is working her magic and helping me get my dreams come true. So anyways, I wanted to share that because you asked me who was one, and that was one, and this is what's happening. So 5 years ago, this week I met her. 5 years ago, like right now, fast forward, I'm opening for her. That's some crazy cycle stuff. I don't know, man. It's crazy how things work out. But when you're meant to do something, and everybody's meant to do something, when you figure that out and you have that drive, man, you're unstoppable, and the universe is on your side.
Yeah.
And beautiful things happen. So if you're not doing nothing this Saturday, come out to Niagara Falls. Watch me probably cry on stage because that is a dream come true for me. And now you know the backstory about it too. So I hope that you guys, feel compelled to come out and be a part of the show. But yeah, she's a big influence. Serena Ryder, I really enjoyed her earlier stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I still dig on her earlier stuff. Not so much right now, but
I'd expect you to say at least one blues player.
a blues player.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
there's so many. There's so many
in your style.
There is. I do love blues, but I love R&B as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love. You know, my least favorite is new country. You know, I kind of stay away from that, so I don't know what's going on there. But as for like, you know, like older ladies, you know, like Aretha Franklin. You know, she was a big influence. Friggin' Mariah Carey. I remember listening to Mariah Carey. My mom listening to her like all the time. My first album, my first CD, I was 8 years old. And we didn't have a lot of money, right? And there was this school trip. And my mom was a counselor for these older people going on this school trip. And sometimes, like, I could kind of sneak in there and go with my mom. You know what I mean? Like, with these older kids. And this time I was able to go on this school trip. And the school trip was Phantom of the Opera here, right? Yeah. And I'm 8 years old, and I'm friggin' watching this epic theater production, and I'm under the chandelier, and I don't know it's fucking dropping. So I'm just like, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. And I'm just a stoked little kid, man. Like, so I'm like running around, this little native kid running around. My mom's like, hey, you get one thing. You can get one thing here. And I said, all right. First thing I grabbed, the soundtrack. Yeah. I was 9 years old singing opera on the res, man. 9 years old singing opera, all the parts.
Did you get bullied for that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I remember being little and driving around, and it'd be a hot day, and like, I'd look at my mom and she'd look at me, and a song would come on and she'd turn up the air, and I'd use the air thing as my mic. And the wind is just blowing in my hair. So I was just a crazy kid right from the get-go. But that was a big influence on my life, because what kind of native girl at that age is singing opera like that on the res? I wore that soundtrack out so much, and I loved it so much. My mom had to give me another one. Yeah. But those are the type of influences that I had, not knowing that this is the path. So little things like that have been happening all my life, to the realization for me to be like, okay, I have to do this. I have to do it. I have to do it. I have to. One more?
Yeah, let's close off with another song.
All right. So this song I wrote in Banff Centre. I applied for this program. You know, it wasn't like a native specific program. It was just for everybody. And so I applied for it, and I got in, and I was there for about a month. It was a month that I was there. So the first day we come in, and there's chairs all in the circle, and I sit down, and I sit down in the worst seat, because the guy that's leading it sits down here and says, oh, we're going to be introducing people, and we're going to start here on our left. So I'm the last one, obviously, to be introduced. So then I'm like, okay, so I immediately start sweating. And the guy starts, oh, I'm so-and-so, my family invented the trumpet. And the next person, she's like, oh, I just got my doctorate in music therapy. The next person's like, oh, my family invented this type of harp, and blah, 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 you know, and so on and so forth. So all these people were like very prestigious in their world. And then it comes to me, and I'm like, hi, I'm Lacey Hill. I'm from Six Nations, and man, I'm not a doctor in anything. I didn't create anything, but somehow I'm here with you, and I'm grateful for that. So After that, they set you up in a cabin, and everything's taken care of. Everything that you could possibly ever need. All the boundaries that I'm used to working in on a daily were gone. So that was a bit of a shock, because it's like, what? I don't have to fight. I don't have to, you know what I mean? I'm not in this fight or flight mode. I'm actually in a place where I can flourish, which is weird to me. So for 2 weeks, I struggled with imposter syndrome, big time. Like the lowest things I was saying to myself, and I never said those types of things to myself. And so I knew I had to figure out what it was and where it was, and that's what it is. It's imposter syndrome. I just felt like so unworthy and so like I didn't belong there, that it affected me in what I was doing. I couldn't write. I had total blockage. Beyond all the barriers that they've taken away, you still can't write. So then I felt even worse. It was a full moon. It was around like September, October. In the mountains, the full moon, Banff, trees. And I went out and I just pretty much let go.
Yeah.
I needed something. I needed to do something. Something wasn't working. And once I was able to let go, I don't know what happened, but I went into my cabin and I wrote this song, and it's called The Moon. And The Moon is this 528 volume 3, The Moon. That's the debut album of the CD that's coming out. So I'll play that for you today, I guess. You can try to fight it, try to fight with all your might. Night creeps in with the dimness of a light. 'Cause the moon keeps on calling, and you will be falling. You'll be asleep in my arms in a matter of time. Give me weight, they're right on top of mine. I'll take your worries, give you some peace of mind. You'll be asleep in my arms in a matter of time. 'Cause Thank you.
It flowed. Well, thank you so much for sharing today. You've shared so much of yourself.
Thank you. Yep.
And so much of your music.
Yep.
And we all wish you the best at this dream gig on Saturday opening
Yes.
for Sarah Harbour.
Yes.
So, we hope you've enjoyed this little taste of the Song Studio Workshop in Toronto in July 2022. Stay tuned for more.